Garmin Parking Mode dash cam cable. So I had a different standard dash cam cable that basically would turn on and off as the vehicle's ignition would be turned on and off. But what this cable does is it has a motion sensor in this block. And what it's going to do is it allows you to hook it directly to the battery. So this ACC can be hooked up basically to the power on a, your standard 12-volt socket. So when you turn the key to the on position, it'll send a signal to the ACC wire, which will put the unit into on mode. And once you turn the ignition off, it'll put it into parking mode. These other two, the yellow one, you want to hook up to your battery terminal positive. The GND or ground goes anywhere grounded. And basically what you're going to do is this. You're going to put a little bit of double-sided sticky tape and stick it to a hard surface. So when the vehicle is shaken, somebody bumps your car, the vehicle shakes, it's going to let it know that an incident has occurred. And then at that point, the parking mode cable will tell your Garmin unit to save that video. So basically, I'm going to route this going up through here, behind this plastic, down the trim on the passenger side, down into that gap. It's going to pop out down there. And then the battery for these Smart 4.2s, you need a coin for a large flathead to remove that. But the battery is just below this. Let me pop this off. So the battery is hiding behind this little panel here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to install it here on these Smart 4.2s. It's quite simple. We're going to remove all of this. I'm going to take this plastic cap off. I'm going to keep all of that. You want to pull this carpet up a little bit like so. Once you pull the carpet up in that area, you're going to basically grab this in this space right here, and you're going to wiggle it back and forth like this, and you're going to pull it out. And this little footrest area basically holds the pump and the fluid for in case you get a flat tire, because smart cars don't have spare tires, they give you that. And then basically we're going to route the ground cable to this nut here, which is a ground point on the vehicle directly to chassis, also connects to ground on the battery. And then on the battery side, we're going to remove this top nut right here, this guy, and we're going to hook up our cable there. And basically we're going to have the wiring coming down there. So first thing is first, we're going to take the dash camera side, and we're going to start wiring it and just feeding it through that area. As you can see, the camera's simply been hooked up. We're feeding the line through here. You want to be shoving it in, and eventually you'll get to a point to where it doesn't really want to go in. You want to get a simple flat blade. It works better with two hands, and then you just twist it just a little bit to allow for some room, or you can shove it in like that. But if you twist it just a little bit, it'll give you some space where you can just gently push the wire in, and you want to do that going all the way down. So once you've successfully pushed it all the way down there, you'll see that the wire might stick out just a tiny bit. What you can do at this point is just grab your screwdriver and just kind of shove it down there just so it's out of view. Not a big deal. We've pushed it just down here. As you can see, there's a little rubber gasket. You just push it beyond, and now your wires are all hidden up here. So now that all this is on, I got some 3M double-sided tape. And basically, you don't want to put it anywhere too low because that foam goes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a spot up here. This looks pretty flat, and I'm just going to basically double-side it to this. And then I'm going to, on one of these nuts, I'm going to zip tie the excess wire right here. And zip tie that right next to it. So now that all that is out of the way, we just have this one primary cable at this point coming down. Everything's wired. Everything is hidden. It's coming down. And we have that one wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire, and we could easily just route it down this channel right here. See how it just kind of sticks in there, but over there it's not the same. That's factory glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it down into this area like that. I'm just going to let this wire sit here, and I'm going to zip tie it right there to this factory harness. Now, as you can see, it's quite simple. You just unscrew this 10mm nut, slide the grounding little prong underneath there, tighten it back down, push this wire out of the way. The battery cable, I just stripped off a little bit, and between these two plates, as you can see, it's in between them. You just curl some wire around it and tighten this back down. So now you have full contact with the battery. You have full contact with the ground. Now for the ACC power, I'm just going to take the 12 volt positive line from this behind all this plastic, and we're going to tap into that line. So here's where we're at so far. We have the 12 volt socket power, and in an earlier video I added a standard 12 volt socket so I can use an adapter for a Type-C cable for the Apple charger that's down there. But at the same time, we know which one's positive here. It's always going to be the center plug, which happens to be the blue wire. Anyways, we added an additional signal wire from that. We wrapped it in fabric tape to make it look factory, and we have the ACC hooked up to this. So when you turn the key, it's going to send 12 volts to this line, which will send 12 volts to the camera. So at this point, we're going to plug it in. Camera's plugged in. And now, when we turn the key, the camera should turn on at this point. Or I guess if you manually shut it off. But as you can see, let me cover up my light. When I give it power, there's power coming here. So now that ACC has power, as I was looking into it, it just randomly started charging. So I guess it took a second for that system to get it all. But as I turn the key off, so you know everything's unplugged. It's going to try to upload, but after about a minute or so, this is going to stop, and then it's going to go to starting parking guard. There it is. So it'll go into parking mode once it's done. And then once again, to recap how it goes, we're taking 12 volt positive line to the ACC. We got this grounded. We got battery going directly there. Our unit is double-sided sticky tape mounted, so when you shake the vehicle, it will say incident detected. And with my screen off here, I don't know if you can tell right there, it's still on. The screen turns off, this red light turns off, but you can still see with everything off. You can see it's in parking mode. So it just turns off the LCD, but it's still going. So when you're all done and you're in parking mode, the screen will be completely off, and you'll see that light flashing, which means everything's set, ignition's off, keys out. And you have a clean installation. The only wire visible is this boy right here. But the feet normally go here. They should never be up here, and the wire is completely out of harm's way. That's the way you want it to be. So that's kind of the point, and that's it. Now you have parking mode installed on your Smart 4 or any other car for that matter. That's how you do it.